Good evening. I'm Alan Joines, Mayor of Winston-Salem. It's my pleasure to call to order this March 4th meeting of the City Council. Excuse me. Took me up from calling the meeting to order. We'd like to ask the City Clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
And Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you very much. Would you please join the City Council with me in a moment of silence? Thank you very much. And would you please join the City Council with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very much. Let me recognize our Sergeant at Arms tonight, Lieutenant Brooks George. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us.
Is your mic on?
On. It is now on. Thank you. Brooks George is our Sergeant at Arms. We're glad to have him. I'd like to now turn the meeting over to our City Manager, Pat Pate, for a City Manager's update.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple of quick announcements tonight for you and for the public. One is Forsyth Creek Week will take place starting Saturday, March 16th through Sunday, March 24th. So we invite the public to join our city stormwater erosion control division and our community partners for creek cleanups, immersive creek crawls, hands-on rain barrel making, insightful demonstrations, and engaging experiences. I think the Great American Cleanup is also Saturday, March 23rd as a part of that activity. So as we're all looking at our spring cleaning, this is a great time to put some of that effort into our community and do some cleaning as well there. Just as we've mentioned several times, but We Built This exhibit that highlights our Black builders and craftspeople in North Carolina opened at Union Station. It's been at the farmers market the last few weeks. And so now it is going to be moving to the March to the C.G. O'Kelly Library on the campus of Winston-Salem State University. So we encourage everybody, if you didn't get a chance to see it yet, to go and see that. It's a great exhibit highlighting many of the most prominent members of our community and some of their investments in our community and how they've helped the community and the state advance. Forward 2025 is still ongoing as a next step. Our team members will be holding a second round of public input meetings at the end of March. The meetings will specifically relate to land use policy recommendations with questions centered around land use preferences, growth management areas, activity centers, and growth corridors. And those are listed on our website, the dates and the places where those events will be held. But we do encourage folks to come out and be an active participant in stating how you'd like to see your city look in the long term. I'm still in a little bit of thunder, but the Human Relations DEI Department's Twin City 12 Trailblazers Award Program will honor nominated women of Winston-Salem who have been recognized as trailblazers in the community. That event's going to be on Tuesday, March 26th at Salem Lake Marina Center. The event is free and open to residents, although you must register, and I think you'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment. I would tell the public as well that we've have created a new, we've turned off our older IVR system and replaced it with Paymentus IVR solutions. So this is a system that improves our resident experience and security calls when you call in to the system. So our team members are really working to make this a better experience for everybody, particularly with a utilities advanced metering infrastructure program. So if you get a little different system when you come to call in and look at your at the utility stuff, just to be aware that we're working on improving that for the community at large. And then just I wanted to highlight that we did get a nice letter and a presentation from the New Life Church, who wanted to say recognize our sanitation department for the outstanding performance that they're giving to the residents of Winston-Salem throughout the year. They visited the city on February 14th to show their appreciation to our sanitation team members and presented them with a peace lily, and we appreciate the church making that effort to recognize our sanitation guys and ladies who spend a great deal of time out in all kinds of weather, making sure the city is clean for all of us. So with that, I'll stand ready. Oh, I should remind everyone, the 10th is daylight savings time. So make sure you turn your clocks appropriately. And with that, I'll stand ready to take questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pape. Any questions to the city manager? Good. Thank you very much, Mr. Pape. We do have an honorary resolution tonight. May we have item H1, please?
Item H1, resolution recognizing March 2024 as Women's History Month and honoring the 2024 Trailblazers. Whereas the City of Winston-Salem recognizes the month of March as Women's History Month, established in 1987 by Congress to celebrate the contributions women of every race, status, and ethnicity who have made to strengthen and lead the nation and challenge the social and legal structures since its inception. And whereas women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also at the forefront of every major progressive social change movement in history, paving the way and breaking the glass ceiling for future generations to enjoy the unalienable rights, duties, and responsibilities afforded equally to all citizens. And whereas Red Heart, Help Educate and Reduce Risk Today, was founded by Cheryl Lindsay in honor of her mother, Gail Lindsay, in 2010. This initiative advocates heart health and wellness and celebrates those that have a heart to break the glass ceiling and pave the way for others. And whereas Red Heart is recognizing trailblazers that have blazed the path for others and celebrating all women for their multifaceted contributions to our community during the month by way of this 2024 celebration. Each trailblazer recognized is extraordinary in her own way, proving that women working inside the home or outside in academia, science, technology, the arts, business, labor, governance, health, and more maintain a critical role in every sphere of society. And whereas in 2022, the first Trailblazers were established for Women's Month to recognize 21 women with their own star on the sidewalk on First Street and Main Street to establish the first Women's Month Walk of Fame in the city of Winston-Salem. And whereas the following women are the 2024 Trailblazers: Naomi Jones, Lisa Caldwell, Lauren Desai, Dr. Doria Kathy Stitz, Emily Davis, Susan Fry, Evelyn Acree, Teresa McCullough, Alice Smith, and Dr. Jamila Speaks. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of Winston-Salem do hereby recognize the month of March 2024 as Women's History Month and honoring the 2024 Trailblazers.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scipio. I know all those in favor, please let know by saying aye.
Aye.
No, there's no opposition. So Cheryl Lindsay, if you would come forward, I'd like to present this to you. Ms. Lindsay, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Winston-Salem, we're happy to present this resolution to you and vicariously to the women who are receiving awards tonight for all the work that you've done to make this happen, and to these ladies for what they've done for our community. And perhaps you could introduce the 9.
Thank you. Would the 10 please come forward, please? And as the honorees join me, I'd like to share a few remarks. First, I want to thank you all for supporting this, and not only supporting today, but also supporting Red Heart and the upcoming event that's coming on the 9th. As we know, we're supporting the #1 killer. We're actually trying to eradicate the #1 killer of both men and women, which is heart disease. And so thank you for supporting that awareness. But today is all about our women, and in National Women's Month, which is also coming up on this upcoming Friday, is International Women's Day. And so we want to thank you for that. I would be remiss not to highlight the women of our city council, our Mayor Pro Tem, Dee Dee Adams, our City Council Member Annette Scipio, our City Council Member Barbara Burke, and I must also want to acknowledge our Assistant City Manager, Patrice Toney, and all of the women that we have here. But here we're spotlighting our 10, and they're just amazing. And also on this day, I lost my mother. This day over 28 years ago. So this is a little bit emotional for me, so I must say that. These women, I want to say, as you heard during this acknowledgement, we have to salute these women because they have just done a phenomenal job, fearlessly pursuing their dreams, shatter stereotypes, and pave the way for generations to come. And their achievements, both big and small, have contributed to the progress and advancement of society as a whole. And in the words of Maya Angelou, each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Let this be a reminder that every accomplishment, every stride forward is a victory not just for one woman, but for all. So today, let's continue to honor and celebrate the extraordinary women in our lives and around the world. Let's continue to support, empower, and uplift each other, ensuring that every woman's voice is heard and every woman's potential is realized. Thank you so much. Last thing I say is we have a 2022 award honoree, the Honorable Judge Denise Hartsfield, as well as Angela Sewell. Please stand. Stars. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay, and congratulations to all the award winners tonight. And their stars are prominently displayed on sidewalk out in front of City Hall there, so I hope you'll have a chance to take a look at those. And before he walks out the door, I want to recognize our sheriff. Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough is here tonight. Glad to have you with us, Sheriff. So tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of two parts, the general agenda and the consent agenda. It's always the practice of our council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously approved or recommended by a committee of the City Council or are being submitted in accordance with established city procedure. There'll be no discussion of the items on this agenda unless a council member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered individually. Items not removed from the consent agenda will be enacted with one motion. Mayor Pro Tem Adams would like to have items C3, 4, and 7 pulled. Are there any other items that council? If not, I entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of the balance of the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. All those in favor, and this is a voice vote, all those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. And that's unanimous. Thank you. We'll have item C3, please.
Item C3, resolution accepting a directed state grant of $35 million for the Midtown Economic Development Project and authorizing agreements with the state of North Carolina and Carter USA Front Street Capital.
Exciting project here. I know Mayor Pro Tem is excited to have it in her ward, so I'll recognize her.
Yes, Mayor and members of the council, I'd like Team Coleman to come up and give a brief review of what this is about. This is big, so any chance that we can champion it to the community, I think we should, so everybody knows what's coming.
Mr. Team, if you give her name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Coleman Team, 450 North Patterson Avenue.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Do you have a presentation, or you want me to just speak for a little bit? I'm happy to just speak.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity. I would be remiss without starting by recognizing that we wouldn't be here without the hard work of city staff, of the mayor and the council, and then also of Wake Forest. We have Julia Jackson Newsom here representing Wake Forest, as well as our partner from Atlanta, Carter USA, Adam Parker. So what we're talking about here, which was discussed during Finance Council, is essentially when Wake Forest and the city petitioned to the state to receive $35 million in grant funding that will go towards infrastructure projects that will support the future projects that will happen in the Beatty Street redevelopment project. The important thing to understand here is that these funds coming from the state are really what will be enabling us to go forward in the future projects. So the criteria that we've used to identify the projects that we will be future working with the city staff on actually approving those priorities are, one is to promote connections. Those connections are both internal at the project, but also most importantly, external between the project and Wake Forest and the surrounding neighborhoods. There's a lot of unique pieces of the infrastructure, such as the greenway that we'll be building that will directly impact and directly connect from this project to the surrounding neighborhoods. The second piece would be a major reason why these funds were enacted is to support the city growth. We anticipate that this area that already has 750,000 people a year that come and enjoy this area to experience significant economic development that will not only benefit the things that are happening there from an activity standpoint, but also specifically impact the residences of Winston-Salem. That's what's most important to us in this project, is this truly is a Winston-Salem project. There are very few $100 million projects that are truly of the community and of the place that we're talking about. Here are some of these infrastructure priorities that we're talking about here. The last piece of the criteria is creating a dynamic community. If not for this infrastructure, we would not be able to invest in some of the pieces around here, which is specifically to create a densified, dynamic, and active location where all cross generations, cross neighborhoods, Wake Forest, and the entire city will be able to come here and congregate and enjoy all of the amenities. Creating the amenities here, such as the walking trail and the public plazas, are really intentional, such that this can be a project for everybody. This will be a Winston-Salem project, and it will significantly enhance all the activities that are currently happening in this area. We're very excited to be embarking upon these priorities with city staff in the coming weeks, with the goal of ideally be shovels in the ground sometime towards the end of this year or the first of next year after we receive the state funding. It's a very quick overview. I'm happy to answer any questions or dive into that detail that you would like.
Any questions? See if Mayor Pro Tem's got any.
Yes, Coleman, could you talk about the bridge
Sure.
over University?
So much like we've seen happen in Innovation Quarter, this area of town deserves to really have a bridge that's physical and metaphorical between this area of town and the rest of the community. If you're not coming here for a basketball game or a football game, there's largely not much opportunity for the community to come and invest and stay and enjoy this part of the Northwest Ward. So as a big part of the project, you will see in the upper left-hand corner of the plan, there will be a connector from Wake Forest across University Parkway into where you see the beginning of this multi-use trail. The multi-use trail will be elevated in some areas and on grade in some other areas, and it will have bridges connecting the parking lots directly across into the yellow area, which is the future retail village. We also anticipate extending a bridge from Whitaker Park south, from Whitaker Park down across the parking lots, over Silas Creek into the new Deacon Boulevard that will also have a bridge, both vehicular and pedestrian, that connects into the heart of the project. This is really all the infrastructure as it is fully built out, with the blue lines being the future phases of that multi-use trail that we were discussing.
Thank you.
Councilmember McIntosh.
I just wanted to say a quick thank you also to State Legislature and Donnie Lameth for this money coming to us. This is really important and a game changer. We talked about at Finance Committee how this part of town in the 80s was the up and coming part of town, and then when Whitaker Park shutting down, everything just came to a halt. And this is we're looking for this to be the energy that carries it forward and gets it back on track. I also did want to note that every dollar that goes into this project is going into public infrastructure, not into any buildings. So this is a real win for the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning that. Donnie Lameth has been absolutely critical in shepherding Wake Forest and the city through this process to go apply for these funds.
Very good. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, if you'd like to make a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve item C3.
Second.
Motion been seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. All those in favor of this motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Team.
Thank you all for everything, and the city staff, I'll also give them a shout out. I've already rolled up their sleeves and really supporting this early part of the process. It's going to be really exciting for all of us, and thank you all for your support.
Thank you very much. And item C4.
Item C4, resolution authorizing award of CARES Act Community Development Block Grant funds for motel vouchers for families experiencing homelessness.
Again, Mayor Pro Tem.
Good evening. I think it's important in lieu of what's going on with homeless and evictions and housing, that every opportunity when it comes to us to be able to publicly talk about or just review an item on the agenda by staff, I think it's very important. So if you could elaborate on that, please.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Allen Jones, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and City Council. The item before you is for an additional $120,000 of CDBG CV funds to be utilized for motel vouchers for families experiencing homelessness. We currently have expended the funds that we had in place to house families in motels. We have a low amount of beds available for families, so this will allow us to motel them throughout the rest of the year.
Thank you. Are there any plans, Assistant Manager Tony, for us? I'm sure something is on the back burner somewhere, so far as housing for families versus the housing that is out there now is mostly for men, women, single. Do we foresee anything possibly coming to us in that respect?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. We are constantly looking for opportunities to house homeless families. There are many resources for homeless men, individuals, but there is a gap in that space. Salvation Army houses women and families. We also are looking at opportunities when we acquire Burton Street as a potential for permanent supportive housing for homeless families. So there's money that continues to come in through federal government that we really want to be strategic. We hope to get some input from the mayor and council next month through the committee of the whole to really give us some guidance on a housing strategy going forward from homelessness all the way to affordable housing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move for approval of item C4.
Second.
Motion and seconded by Councilmember Taylor. Any discussion or questions? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. That is unanimous. Thank you. And then item C7, please.
Item C7, ordinance approving an amendment to subsection 62-2 of Chapter 62 of the City Code, clarifying the intent, expectation, and code enforcement of the natural yards.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor, members of the council, I'm going to kick this to Kevin, Councilmember Mundy, or either Councilmember McIntosh.
For Monday.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This is an idea that came out of a resident in Ardmore who was having trouble actually planting anything in the front yard because our setbacks were so extreme for a small yard. And our new director of sustainability has put together a wonderful plan that will allow us to have natural yards. It will increase hopefully our bird population, our butterfly population, increasing pollination, variety of other positive aspects that I'm going to let you speak to. Thank you.
Please.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm Dr. Shailene Miller, Director of Sustainability. And this is a request for a portion of the ordinance that has been adopted back in 2014, and it sets forth a new guidelines that reduces the setback, which was previously 20 feet, down to 5 feet. It continues to require some type of border, and in order to protect members and help code enforcement keep this difference between natural yards, natural landscape areas, and unmanaged vegetation, we'll have a free registration process and a sign requirement. The sign will be a city-approved sign, and based on committee feedback, we will be having a marketing who brought us one sign, And so we will be providing one free sign to residents.
Councilmember McIntosh?
I just wanted to thank Dr. Miller for putting this together. When we met, we talked about that, the difference between what you called an unmanaged yard, and we get people calling in telling us there are other terms, but just having an easy way to tell the difference between something that's planned and something that's just let go to seed. And hopefully this will start us looking towards our properties and where we can do the same thing and eliminate as much grass and mowing as we can. So thank you.
Thank you.
Move for approval of C7.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Monday, second by Councilmember McIntosh. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll now go to the general agenda, which is comprised of several items on there that we'll consider tonight. One is the 2024 Legislative Priorities Resolution, as well as recommendations to boards and commissions. May we have item G1, please?
Item G1, resolution adopting the Winston-Salem's legislative priorities for the 2024 legislative session.
Thank you. May I recognize the city attorney, please?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Your 2024 legislative package includes 3 bills and 1 resolution. The first bill is a bill that would allow City Council or the Utility Commission to waive or reduce system development fees for lots that are used for affordable housing purposes. Your second bill will essentially authorize the city's 70-30 program, which has been placed on hold because of questions about authority to have that program. And then the last bill will, which is new, will allow City Council, if it so chooses, to give the Planning Board certain final decision-making authority with respect to rezoning matters, in particular those that are non-controversial. Those matters could be appealed to City Council if that was the desire of the parties. But essentially, it would give some authority, a little bit more authority to the Planning Board. Again, Council would have to elect to do this if this bill passes. The resolution before you also will start the conversation with our delegation in the General Assembly about some funding opportunities going forward. In particular, there's a request for an additional $10 million for affordable housing. There is a request for $2 million for a fire ladder truck for Fire Station 19. And finally, there's a request for $500,000 for stormwater projects in general. That's your package for this short session. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the city attorney? If not, may I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, second by Councilmember McIntosh. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the item, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. May we have item G2?
Item G2, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustments, Denise S. Hartsfield, term expiring October 2026.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say, well, excuse me, please vote yes. And anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. And we do have the judge with us tonight. We're glad to have you, and thank you for your willingness to serve on this board, Judge Hartsfield. All right. Item G3.
Item G3, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointments to the Citizens Police Review Board, Dr. Lewis Finney, term expiring August 2026, Brandon Williams, term expiring September 2026, and Stacy Francis, term expiring September 2026.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Larson. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. And then finally, item G4.
Item G4, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointment to the Winston-Salem Transit Authority Board, Dr. David Wren, term expiring March 2027.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Council members, as you know, we do have a need to go into closed session, and I call on Mayor Pro Tem Adams for a motion, if she would, please.
Thank you. I move that the Winston-Salem City Council go into closed session pursuant to 1 GS 143-31811A3 to provide instructions to the city attorney and staff regarding the settlement of a claim and to preserve the attorney-client privilege. And 2 GS 143-31811A1 and 6 to conduct the city attorney's evaluation and to prevent the disclosure of information considered confidential pursuant to GS 168-168.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? We'll go into closed session. Is there a motion to end closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Second, motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Taylor. Since we get two more people out here. All those in favor of ending closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. We are out of closed session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Burke. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. We are adjourned.
Proxy, he said aye.